Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 18 and Chapter 19. How Hemadpant was accepted and blessed. In the last two chapters, Hemadpant described how a rich gentleman aspiring for quick Brahmajnana was treated by Baba, and now, in these two chapters, he describes how Hemadpant himself was accepted and blessed by Baba, how Baba encouraged good thoughts and fructified him, and gives his teachings regarding self-improvement, slander, and remuneration for labor. Preliminary. It is a well-known fact that the Sadguru looks first to the qualifications of his disciples and then gives them suitable instructions without unsettling their minds in the least, and leads them on towards the goal of self-realization. In this respect, some say that what the Sadguru teaches or instructs should not be divulged to others. They think that their instructions become useless if they are published. This view is not correct. The Sadguru is like a monsoon cloud. He pours down profusely, that is, scatters widely his nectar-like teachings. These we should enjoy and assimilate to our heart's content, and then serve others with them without any reserve. This rule should apply not only to what he teaches in our waking state, but to the visions he gives us in our dreams. To quote an instance, Buddha Kaushik Rishi composed his celebrated Rama Raksha Stotra, which he had seen in his dream. Like a loving mother forcing bitter but wholesome medicines down the throats of her children for the sake of their health, Sai Baba imparted spiritual instructions to his devotees. His method was not veiled or secret, but quite open. The devotees who followed his instructions got their object. Sadgurus like Sai Baba open our intellect, our eyes, and show us the divine beauties of the self, and fulfill our tender longings of devotion. When this is done, our desire for sense objects vanishes. Twin fruits of viveka, discrimination, and vairagya, dispassion or non-attachment, come to our hands, and knowledge sprouts up even in the sleep. All this we get when we come in contact with saints or Sadguru, serve them and secure their love. The Lord, who fulfills the desires of his devotees, comes to our aid, removes our troubles and sufferings, and makes us happy. This progress or development is entirely due to the help of the Sadguru, who is regarded as the Lord himself. Therefore, we should always be after the Sadguru, hear his stories, fall at his feet, and serve him. Now we come to our main story. Mr. Sate. There was a gentleman named Mr. Sate who had attained some publicity many years ago during his Crawford regime, which was put down by Lord Reay, the then governor of Bombay. He suffered severe losses in trade. Other adverse circumstances gave him much trouble and made him sad and dejected. Being restless, he thought of leaving home and going out to a distant place. Man does not generally think of God, but when difficulties and calamities overtake him, he turns to God and prays for relief. If his evil actions have come to an end, God arranges his meeting with a saint who gives him proper directions regarding his welfare. Mr. Sate had similar experience. His friends advised him to go to Shirdi, where so many people were flocking to get Sai Baba's darshan for getting peace of mind and the satisfaction of their wants. He liked the idea and at once came to Shirdi in 1917. Seeing Baba's form, which was like eternal Brahma, self-luminous, spotless, and pure, his mind lost its restlessness and became calm and composed. He thought that it was the accumulation of merits of his former births that brought him to the holy feet of Baba. He was a man of strong will. He at once started to make a parayana or study of Guru Charitra. When the reading was finished in the Saptaha or 7 days, Baba gave him a vision that night. It was to this effect: Baba, with Guru Charitra in his hand, was explaining its contents to Mr. Sathe, who was sitting in front and listening carefully. When he woke up, he remembered the dream and felt very happy. He thought that it was extremely kind of Baba. Who awakens souls like his that are snoring in ignorance and makes them taste the nectar of Guru Charitra? Next day, he informed Kaka Sahib Dikshit of this vision and requested him to consult Sai Baba regarding its meaning or significance. Whether one saptaha, that is, 1 week's reading, was sufficient, or whether he should begin again. Kaka Sahib Dikshit, when got a suitable opportunity, asked Baba, Deva, what did you suggest to Mr. Sathe by this vision? Whether he should stop or continue the saptaha? He is a simple devotee. His desire should be fulfilled and the vision explained to him, and he should be blessed. Then Baba replied, he should make one more saptaha of the book. If the work be studied carefully, the devotee will become pure and will be benefited. The Lord will be pleased and will secure him from the bondage of the mundane existence. At this time, Hemadpant was present there. He was shampooing Baba's legs. When he heard Baba's words, he thought in his mind as follows: What? Mr. Sathe read for a week only and got a reward, and I am reading it for 40 years with no result. His 7 days stay here becomes fruitful, while my 7 years stay, 1910 to 1917, goes for nothing. Like a chatak bird, I am ever waiting for the merciful cloud or Baba to pour its nectar on me and bless me with his instructions. No sooner did this thought cross his mind, Baba knew it then and there. It was the experience of the Bhaktas that Baba read and understood all their thoughts, and that he suppressed the evil thoughts and encouraged the good ones. Reading Hemadpant's mind, Baba at once asked him to get up, go to Shama, Madhavrao Deshpande, get from him rupees 15 as dakshina, sit and chit-chat with him for a while and then return. Mercy dawned in Baba's mind, and so he issued this order. And who could disobey Baba's order? Hemadpant immediately left the masjid and came to Shama's house. He had just bathed and was wearing a dhotar. He came out and asked Hemadpant, How is that you're here now? It seems that you have come from the masjid. Why do you look restless and dejected? Why are you alone? Please sit and rest while I shall just do my worship and return. In the meanwhile, you please take panvida, leaves and betel nuts, etc. Let us then have a pleasant chat. After saying this, he went inside and Hemadpant sat alone in the front veranda. He saw in the window a well-known Marathi book named Nath Bhagavat. This is a commentary by the Saint Eknath on the 11th skanda or chapter of the bigger Sanskrit work, the Bhagavat. At the suggestion or recommendation of Sai Baba, Messrs. Bapu Sahib Jog and Kaka Sahib Dikshit read daily in Shirdi Bhagavad Gita with its Marathi commentary named Bhavartha Deepika or Jnaneshwari. This is a dialogue between Krishna and his friend devotee Arjuna, and Nath Bhagavat, which is a dialogue between Krishna and his servant devotee Uddhava, and also Eknath's other big work, namely Bhavarta Ramayana. When devotees came to Baba and asked him certain questions, he sometimes answered them in part and asked them to go and listen to the readings of the above mentioned works, which are the main treatise of Bhagavad Dharma. When the devotees went and listened, they got full and satisfactory replies to their questions. Hemadpant also used to read daily some portions of the book Nath Bhagavat. That day, He did not complete the daily portion of his reading, but had left it unfinished in order to accompany certain devotees who were going to the masjid. When he took up the book from Shama's window and casually opened it, he found to his surprise that the unfinished portion turned up. He thought that Baba sent him very kindly to Shama's house for enabling him to complete his daily reading. So he went through the unfinished portion and completed it. As soon as this was over, Shama, after doing his worship, came out, and the following conversation took place between them. Hemadpant, I have come with a message from Baba. He has asked me to return with rupees 15 as dakshina from you. Also to sit with you for a while and have a pleasant chit chat, and then return to the masjid with you. Shama, with surprise, I have no money to give. Take my 15 namaskars or bows in lieu of rupees as dakshina to Baba. Hemadpant, all right, your namaskars are accepted. Now let us have some chit chat. Tell me some stories and leelas of Baba which will destroy our sins. Shama, then sit here for a while. Wonderful is the sport or leela of this god Sai Baba. You know it already. I am a village rustic, while you are an enlightened citizen. You have seen more leelas since your coming here. How should I describe them before you? Well, take these leaves, betel nut and chunam, and eat the panvida, while I go in, dress myself, and come out. In a few minutes, Shama came out and sat talking with Hemadpant. He said, the leela of this god, Sai Baba, is inscrutable. There is no end to his leelas. Who can see them? He plays or sports with his leelas. Still, he is outside or unaffected by them. What do we rustics know? Why does not Baba himself tell stories? Why does he send learned men like you to fools like me? His ways are inconceivable. I can only say that they are not human. With this preface, Shama added, I now remember a story which I shall relate to you. I know it personally. As a devotee is resolute and determined, so is Baba's immediate response. Sometimes Baba puts the devotees to severe test and then gives them upadesh or instructions. As soon as Hemadpant heard the word upadesh, a flash of lightning crossed through his mind. He at once remembered the story of Mr. Sathi's Guru Charitra reading and thought that Baba might have sent him to Shama in order to give peace to his restless mind. However, he curbed this feeling and began to listen to Shama's stories. They all showed how kind and affectionate Baba was to his devotees. Hemadpant began to feel a sort of joy while hearing them. Then Shama began to tell the following story. Mrs. Radhabai Deshmukh. There was an old woman by name Radhabai. She was the mother of one Kashaba Deshmukh. Hearing Baba's fame, she came to Shirdi with the people of Sangamner. She took Baba's darshan and was much satisfied. She loved Baba intimately and resolved in her mind that she should accept Baba as her guru and take some upadesh from him. She knew nothing else. She determined to fast herself unto death so long as Baba did not accept her and give her any upadesh or mantra. She stayed in her lodging and left off taking any food or water for 3 days. I was frightened by this ordeal of the old woman and interceded with Baba on her behalf. I said, Deva, what is this you have started? You drag so many persons here. You know that old lady. She is very obstinate and depends on you entirely. She has resolved to fast unto death. If you don't accept and instruct her, if anything worse happens, people will blame you and say that Baba did not instruct her and consequently she met her death. So take some mercy on her, bless her, and instruct her. On seeing her determination, Baba sent for her, changed the turn of her mind by addressing her as follows: "O mother, why are you subjecting yourself to unnecessary tortures and hastening your death? You are really my mother, and I am your child. Take pity on me and hear me through. I tell you my own story, which, if you listen carefully, will do you good. I had a guru. He was a great saint and most merciful. I served him long, very long. Still, he would not blow any mantra into my ears. I had a keen desire never to leave him but to stay with him and serve him, and at all costs receive some instructions from him. But he had his own way. He first got my head shaved and asked me 2 pice as dakshina. I gave the same at once. If you say that as my guru was perfect, why should he ask for money? And how should he be called desireless? I reply plainly that he never cared for coins. What he had to do with them? His 2 pies were 1. Firm faith, and 2. Patience or perseverance. I gave these 2 pies or things to him, and he was pleased. I resorted to my guru for 12 years. He brought me up. There was no dearth of food and clothing. He was full of love, nay, he was love incarnate. How can I describe it? He loved me most. Rare is a guru like him. When I looked at him, he seemed as if he was in deep meditation, and then we both were filled with bliss. Night and day I gazed at him with no thought of hunger and thirst. Without him, I felt restless. I had no other object to meditate, nor any other thing than my Guru to attend. He was my sole refuge. My mind was always fixed on him. This is the 1 pice dakshina. Saburi, patience or perseverance, is the other pice. I waited patiently and very long on my Guru and served him. This saburi will ferry you across the sea of this mundane existence. Saburi is manliness in man. It removes all sins and afflictions, gets rid of calamities in various ways, and casts aside all fear and ultimately gives you success. Saburi is the mine of virtues, consort of good thought. Nishtha, faith, and Saburi, patience, are like twin sisters, loving each other very intimately. My Guru never expected any other thing from me. He never neglected me but protected me at all times. I lived with him and was sometimes away from him. Still, I never felt the want or absence of his love. He always protected me by his glance. Just as the tortoise feeds her young ones, whether they are near her or away from her on the other side of the river bank, by her loving looks. O mother, my guru never taught me any mantra. Then how shall I blow any mantra in your ears? Just remember that Guru's tortoise like loving glance gives us happiness. Do not try to get mantra or upadesh from anybody. Make me the sole object of your thoughts and actions, and you will no doubt attain Paramartha, the spiritual goal of life. Look at me wholeheartedly, and I in turn look at you similarly. Sitting in the masjid, I speak the truth, nothing but the truth. No sadhanas nor proficiency in the 6 shastras are necessary. Have faith and confidence in your Guru. Believe fully that Guru is the sole actor or doer. Blessed is he who knows the greatness of his Guru and thinks him to be Hari, Hara, and Brahma, the Trimurti incarnate. Instructed in this way, the old lady was convinced. She bowed to Baba and gave up her fast. Hearing this story carefully and attentively, and marking its significance and appropriateness, Hemadpant was most agreeably surprised. Seeing this wonderful Leela of Baba, he was moved from top to toe. He was overflowing with joy. His throat was choked, and he was not able to utter a single word. Shama, on seeing him in this condition, asked him, "What is the matter with you? Why are you silent? How many innumerable Leelas of Baba shall I describe?" Just at that time, the bell in the masjid began to ring, proclaiming that the noon worship and arti ceremony had begun. Therefore, Shama and Hemadpant hurried to the masjid. Bapu Sahib Jog had just started the worship. Women were up in the masjid and men were standing below in the open courtyard, and they were all loudly singing the arti in chorus to the accompaniment of drums. Shama went up, pulling Hemadpant with him. He sat to the right and Hemadpant in front of Baba. On seeing them, Baba asked Hemadpant to give the dakshina brought from Shama. He replied that Shama gave namaskars in lieu of rupees and that he was there in person. Baba said, "All right, now let me know whether you both had a chit chat, and if so, tell me all that you talked about." Not minding the sounds of the bell, the drum, and the chorus songs, Hemadpant was eager to tell what they had talked and started to narrate it. Baba was also anxious to hear, and so he left the bolster and leaned forward. Hemadpant said all that they talked about was very pleasant, and that especially the story of the old lady was most wonderful, and that on hearing it he thought that his Leela was inexplicable, and under the guise of that story he really blessed him. Baba then said, "Wonderful is the story. How were you blessed? I would like to know everything in detail from you, so tell me all about it." Then Hemadpant related in full the story which he had heard a little while before, and which had made a lasting impression on his mind. Hearing this, Baba was much pleased and asked him, "Did the story strike you and did you catch its significance?" He replied, "Yes, Baba, the restlessness of my mind has vanished, and I have got true peace and rest, and come to know the true path." Then Baba spoke as follows: "My method is quite unique. Remember well this one story, and it will be very useful. To get the knowledge or realization of the self, dhyana, meditation is necessary. If you practice it continuously, the vrittis or thoughts will be pacified. Being quite desireless, you should meditate on the Lord who is in all the creatures. And when the mind is concentrated, the goal will be achieved. Meditate always on my formless nature, which is knowledge incarnate, consciousness, and bliss. If you cannot do this, meditate on my form from top to toe, as you see here, night and day. As you go on doing this, your vrittis will concentrate on one point, and the distinction between the dhyata, meditator, and dhyana, the act of meditation, and dhyaya, this meditated upon, will be lost, and the meditator will be one with the consciousness and be merged in the Brahman. The mother tortoise is on one bank of the river, and her young ones are on the other side. She gives neither milk nor warmth to them. Her mere glance gives them nutrition. The young ones do nothing but remember or meditate upon their mother. The tortoise's glance is to the young ones a downpour of nectar, the only source of sustenance and happiness. Similar is the relation between the Guru and disciples. When Baba uttered these last words, The chorus of the Aarti song stopped, and all cried out loudly in one voice, "Victory be to our Sadguru Sai Maharaj, who is existence, knowledge, and bliss." Dear readers, let us imagine that we are at this time standing amongst the crowd in the masjid, and let us join them in this Jai Jaikar. After the Arati ceremony was over, Prasad was distributed. Bapu Sahib Jog advanced as usual and, after saluting Baba, gave into his hand a handful of sugar candy. Baba pushed all this quantity into the hands of Hemadpant and said to him, "If you take this story to heart and remember it well, your state will be sweet as the sugar candy. All your desires will be fulfilled and you will be happy." Hemadpant bowed before Baba and implored, "Do favor me like this. Bless and protect me always." Baba replied, "Hear this story, meditate on it, and assimilate its spirit. Then you will always remember and meditate on the Lord, who will manifest Himself to you." Dear readers, Hemadpant got prasad of sugar candy then, and we now get the prasad of sugar candy or nectar of this story. Let us drink it to our heart's content, meditate on it, and assimilate it, and be strong and happy by Baba's grace. Amen. Towards the end of the 19th chapter, Hemant Pant had dealt with some other matters, which will be read in part 2. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Please join me in sharing the wonderful life and teachings of Sai Baba to many more people by sharing this video and adding your valuable comments below. Om Sai Ram.